Let's go from the top. Hey, stop. It's the wrong genre completely. You need to change a few things, okay? Okay, much better. Let's try from the top. Hi there, this is Sam with Second Tier Sound. Really nice to see you here. If you're new here, I create videos on how to orchestrate in a DAW. You can always subscribe if that interests you. But today I wanted to try something a little bit different. A while ago, I had a guest on the Composers Roundtable podcast, a podcast you may want to check out, by the way. He was called Tracy Collins, and he is an instrument maker, a virtual instrument maker. And even though that's quite a different genre from what I normally do on this show, I thought the instruments were so impressive that I really wanted to showcase them to you. I'm not sponsored by Tracy, I really just wanted to show you that these are some great instruments that are very affordable and sound really good. So let's get into that right away. Let's take a look at the instruments. Yes, Tracy actually sent me several instruments, and very kind of him. But I won't do all of them, unfortunately, but I will show you some, and I think it will give you a really good idea of what he can do and what these instruments can do. And I highly recommend you to check out his other instruments as well at Indiginus.com, which I will link below. Let's take a look at the fiddle first, and I will try to improvise here a little bit. Yeah, I'm not great at this, I'm sorry. But I still wanted to show you that even if you just jump in, it's quite easy to get a pretty good sound when you just play live. I do think though this instrument is better when you program it in, but you can still have quite fun with it. Maybe you noticed here in the middle there was sort of a marker going up and down, depending on how hard I hit the key, and that is very dynamic and very nice. So if you hit it hard, you get a hard attack. If you do, soft attack, and that also goes for the legato. So. And there's also a key switch for that. If I hold down this key down here, the purple key down here, you get this slow, nice legato. Like a portato, which is very good for this style of music. But you can also click these icons here, and then you will activate the different velocity layers. If you just hit the key normally, you get a normal sound. But if you hit it harder, you get that articulation. And if you hit it quite softly, you get the short. And you can decide here where you want these levels to be. And this is something really Tracy has nailed, because every keyboard is different and it's very good to set this level. I actually prefer to remove this, and then I use the key switches instead. And let's look at the key switches. Quite a few ones, and it really makes this instrument a lot of fun. So the first one is just a tremolo. It's not time synced, so it will always be like that. Very nice. And then we have different scoops and grace notes. Short one. And this is really cool because it's a harmony, right? And you can set what kind of harmony. This is sort of bluegrass. It follows a certain style. But the great thing is that no matter what you set, you can set blues or different intervals, it follows the scale. And then you can obviously change the key as well. Really like that. Okay, so we got some more grace notes here. And then lastly, we have this fun repetitions, which is time synced, and you can even put intervals on that. Very, very nice. And you know what? That's pretty much it. And that's what I like about these instruments. They're very powerful, but very easy. And you have everything you need here in the main window. So let's go on with the next instrument here, the mandolin. You might see that it's quite similar, in fact. It has this thing in the middle here. Depending where you set them, you get different articulations. So Very nice. It has a few different articulations here that the fiddle doesn't have. For example, mutes. And a slide. And a tremolo. A bit different. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same idea. And the key switches are laid the same way, so it's easy to find all the key switches you want, and you can control the instrument the same way. But it also has chords. So we can click here, or you can use these keys down here so you can switch between the modes. And then it is a chord builder. At first, I was a little bit confused what this all was doing, but it's actually quite clever. The red one and the green one is upstroke and downstroke. So each chord has two keys, so you can go up and down. And if you play softer, it plays less of the strings. You can turn that off, you don't have dynamic strings, and you get a full chord every time. But you can still be dynamic, so it's very nice. I like the dynamic idea because it feels like you hit the strings a little bit different each time. All right, so I'm just playing the C now. I can obviously go up the whole scale. We're set in C, major, A minor. What is all this other stuff here? Well, basically, the yellow key is up here, if you see. Basically, I'm telling which one of these am I selecting. Rather than going up with the mouse, I can actually select. So if I want to change the D here, I click the D. Now it is selected. You can't see it, but it is. And then with these colored keys up here, I can change what type of chord. You see, look at the D here now. You will see changes. There we go. So for example, we can have a major, minor, seventh. Well, let's see what it sounds like actually. So you have a lot of chords. And I really like this idea because normally when you play the chord yourself and the engine is trying to interpret what it is, it's hard to get it right. It's hard to program that well. So you can get more chords this way. So I actually like this way. And it's easy to key switch in and program it in if you want to change it when you play. Otherwise, you can put in mutes here. So if you hit very soft, you get a mute sound. So then you can also have arpeggiate. And you can then change how fast you want it. Let's take a look at the ukulele. Also one of my favorites here. So you see, it's very, very similar to the mandolin. It's got pretty much the same stuff here, but it has a few additions that I've noticed. It's easier to choose the sound presets here, for example, what kind of sounds you want. Very nice. It also, in the strumming section, has a few improvements. So it does have the same strumming. And it works exactly the same as the previous instrument, but it also has preset patterns. So and this is actually very nice to get some fast results. And I've noticed if you put it in a band, it sounds really amazing. And there's quite a few of them here. You can have 10 loaded, but there are more than that. So you can choose the style you want. And then just with this red switches down here, you can choose which one you want. But there's another addition here to actually recognize what you put down with your hand. So now you can try to play chords. And it's actually quite good at recognizing the chords. So if you prefer doing that way, you can. Otherwise, it works pretty much the same here. You have all the settings, and here you have a little bit nicer effect rack. You have a little bit different color and where the mic is placed. You can actually EQ it a little bit, flange your compressor, reverb. You can have some wideness here and delay. So it has a little bit more going on for it. And I also find that the sound is really, really well sampled. There's a lot of detail. The round robin is working very nicely here, you can tell. Now, it's not that I've tried all the ukuleles and mandolins out there, so what would I know? But I really think this is one of the better ones I've heard. I really like the sound of these two. Let's take a look at the Renegade Acoustic a little bit. And as you can see, it looks a little bit different, but it's the same interface as before. Obviously, you can probably not play the guitar like that. I'm a pianist, so I don't play the way guitarists play. But if you work on it, you can make a really nice sound. The additions he added to this, apart from all the stuff that are in the previous libraries, is that you can actually have a finger pick here. So this is very nice. I like that he actually added the D down here. A guitar normally can't play that, but it's really nice that you actually can add it. It gets a little lower sound. I guess you can tune down the guitar, but normally the D is not in a guitar. So pick or the fingered one. But it also has 12 strings. And it's really, really lovely sound. And then again, you can change the presets here. And it does also have the same effects presets as the ukulele has. And it's very capable, I find. And you can also change around here with your key switches. And it does have a strummer, which works pretty much the same as the other one. You have your chords. Or you can just hold in a key and play that rhythm. But in my mind, the best way is to show all these instruments working together in a nice mock-up. So I put all these instruments and I made a sort of a hybrid Irish folk music, country western. I don't normally write this kind of music, maybe you can tell, but pay attention to what it sounds like. So what's my final verdict on these instruments? Well, I have to say, if you look at the price and what you get, you compare that to other similar libraries out there, I think this is one of the better string libraries out there, at least when it comes to ukulele and mandolin and guitar. I mean, you get a lot of options in these string instruments, how you play it. You get a strummer, you get all these chords, you have nice amplifiers in some cases, you can really change the sounds, you have a lot of options. It's easy to work with. But actually, most of all, I really just like the way it sounds immediately when you hit the keys. You get an instant, warm, nice feeling, actually. It's hard to describe. There is something magical, something emotional almost about these instruments that I really, really like. Still though, I want to say, if you want to get the most out of these instruments, it's better to program them in so you get all the articulations in right order. So if this interests you, I really recommend you to go and check these instruments out. And by the way, Tracy has a lot of different instruments on his site. Now they're a little bit more geared to the country and western style, obviously, but I will definitely use some of the instruments in my compositions when needed. Anyway, thank you very much for sticking through this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like these kind of videos, you can always hit the subscribe button and the like button. Perhaps write a comment, let people know what's going on, or even become a patron if you want to get access to the MIDI files that I create for these videos. Until next time, this is Samuel signing out. Take care.